Okay, so we're going to look at the last index law called the rational indices. So rational indices. It's the last index law which ties all the third stuff we were doing at the start of this chapter with the index laws. So all you need to remember is something to the power of a fraction m over n means that it's the nth root of a or to the power of m. So the way I remember it is, if it's the number on the bottom of the fraction, it's the nth root, whereas the number on top, it's the to the power of altogether. Another way you can write this is take the power to the a first, and then take the nth root of that object or item. So let's do some examples. So example 1, let's write in third form. So remember, thirds are the square rooty stuff. So suppose we have 3 to the 1/5. Let's write it as a third. So it's the power of a fraction. Fraction means we have the nth root. Right now the bottom denominator of the fraction is a 5, so we want the 5th root of 3. Now remembering, when you're writing 5th root, it's a small 5 at the side of the square root sign. It is not a big 5 root 3, because that's a different meaning. So it's a little 5 square root 3. Let's do another one. B 7x, oops, sorry, wrong question. B, let's do 5 to the 2/3. So what this means is it's the cube root of 5 squared, because the 2 squared is on the top of the fraction. So that's, in other words, it's cube root of 25. Now let's go the other way. Example 2, let's write in index form. Suppose we have square root of 15. How do we write that in index form? So square root by default is 15 to the power of half, because it's the square. Square means 2. So another one, B, let's do 7x to the 5 all square rooted. So all of 7x to the 5 is square root, which means all of 7x to the 5 is to the power of 1/2, because square root means 1/2. So we can expand it out, so that's 7 to the power of half. X, 5 times a half gives me 5/2, and we can leave it at that. Let's do another one. C, 3 lots of the 4th root of x to the 7. Now the 3 here is not inside the square root, so we can leave the coefficient of 3 alone. It's x, it has a power of 7, and the 4th root, so it's divided by 4, so it's x to the 7/4. And we'll do one more. D, 10 root 10. So the first 10 in front is a coefficient, leave it alone. Our second 10 is a square root, so it's to the power of 1/2. So combining them, if I'm multiplying by the same base, which is 10, we can add the powers. So technically it's 10 to the power of 1. 1 plus 1/2 is 1.5, or 3/2. Let's do one more example. Example 3. We need to evaluate, or to work out, without a calculator. So let's look at 16 to the 3/4. So to the power of a fraction, the 4's on the bottom, so we want the 4th root of 16, and then we want to cube it all. So the 4th root of 16 is 2, so 2 cubed is then 8. Let's do another one. 27 to the -1/3. So let's leave the negative alone, and we'll do the 1/3 first, because technically this is 27 to the 1/3 to the power of -1, right? Because power of a power means I multiply. So 27 to the 1/3 means it's the cube root of 27. All of that to the power of -1. So the cube root of 27 is 3 to the power of -1. Anything to the power of negative means it's 1 over that number. So we have 1/3. So to-do list. Oh, not F, it's I. I for igloo. Page 207. That's it. Have fun.